Well, now that you got your food truck going and you got everything else going, what is it that you are going to use as far as a generator is concerned for your food truck? I know the most common type of generators are your regular pull cord, Briggs and Stratton carbureted type of generator. Well, I recommend for you to buy, say, for instance, I'm not. This is not a commercial, but I always recommend the Harborfreight type of inverter generator. You might want to look that up. It's got a lot of benefits as far as the noise level is concerned. I believe that they're between 60 and 70 dBA. I got a generator that's a 15,000 watt Honda North Star. And the problem I have with the generator is not that the generator is loud. The fan itself is louder than the generator. So it's disturbing. You know, you figure 9 o'clock at night, you're serving, and then the noise. That's a turn off. Like most events don't allow loud generators. And besides, you don't want to be out 9 o'clock at night at an event, and the next thing you know, the thing runs out of gas, and then you got to go out there and do like a pull cord, like an old lawnmower. No. My recommendation is the Harbor Freight, the Predator, whichever wattage that you think that you need. But as far as food trucks, every food truck is probably 30 watts. I'm sorry, 30 amps. Okay, a 30 amp plug. If you actually take a look at the video on the right side of the video, you would see that I got a 30 amp plug the way it would look like. But back to the inverter generator, yes, I do recommend that. I mean, it's a quieter than the normal. As far as like having a conversation, it's around 60 to 70 dBs. And you got those models like 2500. You can spend more money and get better wattage. My own food truck is about 50 amps. That's another page. But I do recommend that. It's quiet. You can actually enclose it in some cases, and there's echo mode and noise reduction. This I'm not doing this for Harbor Freight, but I just want you guys to know: do not make that mistake and go out and buy these pull cord generators from your Home Depot or whichever. Now, let's get into ethanol with generators. Okay, ethanol, of course, is the regular gas that we use. I mean, modern day times they mix the gas with corn. Okay, if you have a generator that, say for instance, you let the truck sit for like a month, chances are you go back to starting that generator, that corn that's in the gas is going to gunk up the carburetor, or even if you have a fuel injected system, that can be a problem. Some people recommend gas from certain gas stations that sells like regular gas with no ethanol in it. I don't know if that's something that you might want to get into. But as far as the generator is concerned, if you do use regular gas, you always want to keep the generator running. At least I would say if you leave it sitting over the wintertime or whatever, just start it every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks or so. So that way you can actually prevent the ethanol, that gunk issue that actually sits in the carburetor, the jets of the carburetor that would stop the fuel or even clog up the carburetor solenoids. Most time it's the solenoid that sticks that prevents the fuel from shooting through. All right, so let's get back to electricity here. Now, most I can't say well, most food trucks that are built in America has your 30 amp plug. Whether the 30 amp plug look different from the others, but it's all 30 amps. In America, we do use 60 hertz and 120, 220. But if you look at the plug on the right hand side of the video, you would see that that is your common 30 amp plug. Now, if you go out and buy a generator at, say, the Harborfreight that I talked about, you want to make sure that your plug from the food truck matches the plug that is in the generator. Makes sense, right? Okay, just do that because you might find it where the guy that built the food truck has a certain plug a certain way, and then your generator has a different plug. Just you have to match those. Doesn't make a difference in voltage, okay? You got to match it. Another thing that if you do events, you might want to have these converting type of plugs. For instance, you might go somewhere where there's no 220 and there's just like 120. So they do make a plug that you can go from 220 to 120. For instance, if you got the freezers, the refrigerators, you can actually plug into. I mean, you might be out of air conditioning, you might be out of the luxury for that 2 3 hours you're serving, but at least you can keep your refrigerators going. That plug comes from, say, a 220 to a 120. You might want to look that up. Harbor Freight also sells that stuff. So hopefully, I've given you enough, guys. Listen, I can do more videos on these technical things that most people are like curious about and can't really get an answer. I mean, you get into a business, you're only reading headlines. I have experience as a technician in the food truck business. The mistakes that I made, I don't want you to make it. Please, guys, subscribe. Um, Click the notification bell when I put these videos out. Once I see the enthusiasm in you, believe me, I will bring you great content. So your food truck business do not fail. I have a lot of content, very important things that you guys need to know, from danger, gas, fires, extinguishers, and many safety things that you guys need to do, as well as financial that you guys need to know before you jump in this river of love of making money food truck business of yours that you thought that you want to make millions. But if you listen to what I say and you watch the videos, believe me, there are lots of mistakes that you will not make, and you will very well be on your way to making success. Guys, please subscribe. Chef John, Grab and Go Concessions.